let's get to it. I started this video coming off my trip to Japan, so the packs we're going to use for this video are actually part of the Japanese TCG. I thought it would make for an interesting little twist. The packs we're pulling from are Night Wanderer, Bergona Paradise, Stellar Miracle, Transformation Mask, Wild Force, and Cyber Judge, Rellor, Pidove, Mr. Mime, Unfezant, Salvatore, Carvanha, Ekans, Turtwig, Wugtrio, Reuniclus, Sandygast, Dreepy, Aron, Bug Catching Set, Mightyena, Fletchling, Charjabug, Meditite, Terapagos, Diancie, Klefki, Cedtoddle, Flittle, Dialga, Shiinotic, Horsea, Axew, Drowzee, Xenosix Scheme, Genesect. As a refresher, let's go over the rules again. Rule number 1, if the shiny isn't available, I'm not going to hunt for it. Rule number 2, I will use any shiny hunting method I see fit. And rule number 3, I am not hunting duplicate shiny Pokemon. We're starting off this video with our first legendary Pokemon of the shiny living dex, Dialga. As far as legendaries go, this is one of the easier ones to do as we have quite a few different methods to obtain it. For our hunt, we will be utilizing a dual hunt between the Ultra Wormholes in Ultra Sun and the Dynamax Adventures in Shield. We are already well versed in the wormholes, but as a quick refresher, we travel through space-time to find specific Pokemon. Legendaries are slightly different, as the shininess is not predetermined once you get to the legendary you want, and you can just soft reset right in front of the encounter to very quickly rack up encounters. I use a little setup of strapping a rubber band around the shoulder buttons on the 3DS and wedging a dime underneath the control stick. This way, all I have to do is press the start button, hit the A button a couple times, and then the setup automatically moves me forward for the encounter. Honestly, the bigger challenge is finding the right legendary you need. Dynamax Adventures, on the other hand, are completely new to this series. Found within the Crown Tundra DLC for Sword and Shield is the Dynamax Den. Here you can embark on a sort of roguelike experience in which you battle with 3 other trainers across 4 Dynamax battles, with the last battle being a legendary Pokemon. The challenge is that you are limited to 4 lives, and if you are playing solo, the bots you teamed up with, quite frankly, suck. And unlike the Terra Raid battles in Scarlet and Violet, the bots sucking hinders your progress. So that will be another thing working against us in this method. But on the flip side, the shiny odds are insanely high. The base odds are 1 in 300 without a shiny charm, and that goes up to 1 in 100 with the charm. So while very time consuming, the odds are theoretically in your favor. Theoretically. Just kidding. I hate this thing. I hate this thing so much. Yeah, we are gonna have to come back to this a little bit later. Our next hunt will be a lot easier, heading to Scarlet and Violet to find a quartet of Gen 9 Pokemon. Wugtrio, Flittle, Rellor, and Cedtoddle. While these games are really easy to shiny hunt in, it doesn't really lend itself to making good content. So to make it a little more interesting, I decided I would do a time trial with these 4 to see how quickly I could actually catch them all. My goal was to do it in under an hour. We're starting off the time trial with a water sandwich looking for a Wiglet. No outbreak for this one, as they are a very common spawn by this Pokemon Center in East Province Area 1. And it showed up in less than 8 minutes. Oh, there it is. Right. We're moving to Flittle now, and I had an outbreak for it just north of our character's house. So I popped a psychic sandwich and got to work. Flittle is incredibly small, so while on paper the change from pink to green should be fairly noticeable, the reality is that it is much more difficult to see, especially with my ancient eyesight. But with about 23 minutes on the clock, our second shiny showed up. Yep. Sick. That's sick. Friend ball. For the green shiny. Only 25 minutes into the time trial, we're heading to the terrarium to find Rellor. With a bug sandwich active, Rellor dominates the spawns in this area, with a few Rabska thrown in so we don't get too confident. But as time ticked away, we weren't having any luck. I decided to reset the outbreaks in hope of getting a Rellor outbreak while my odds of getting one were still high. And it paid off, as the outbreak I needed appeared after only a handful of resets. I got to work with the knockouts, but I didn't even need that many for the shiny to appear. Oh. The wrong one. That's the wrong one. No, where'd he go? He's running away. Look at him go. Just under an hour on the board. The last one to grab is Cedtoddle. I still have the special Cedtoddle outbreaks that came with the shiny Rayquaza raids. These special outbreaks come with high shiny odds already, so instead of using the expected ice sandwich, I grabbed the Academy special from the Blueberry Academy cafeteria for a little boost to the shiny odds. There were plenty of outbreaks to choose from, so I picked this one north of the Asado Desert because I thought the cave aesthetic would be cool for Cedtoddle. That's shiny, right? Yes, it is. Okay. Heavy ball. All right. So hour and we'll call it 9 minutes. Hour and 9 minutes to get all 4 Gen 9. Well, technically we still need to evolve Wiglet into Wugtrio. Hour 10 minutes to get all 4. For Mightyena, we're heading back to 2006 and using the Pokeradar in Diamond. Mightyena is exclusive to Pokeradar encounters, which look like this, and we are looking on Route 215. As a refresher, once you find the Pokemon you're looking for, you want to continue the chain by catching the Pokemon and then going to a shaking patch that is 4 spaces away, avoiding the edge tiles, of course. We start the first chain fairly quickly and get all the way to 11 before it just fails, which, if you're doing the chaining correctly, only has a 2% chance of happening in the Gen 4 games. Almost like being unlucky is starting to become a theme of this video. The second chain gets all the way to 21 before something very unexpected happens. Why me? Why? It's not fair. What? Did you think I was gonna find the shiny before chain of 40? Get real. So yeah, the Mightyena here will all know the move Roar, which will instantly end the battle if used, and therefore the chain. There are a few ways to combat this, but the method I chose was to find a Pokemon with the soundproof ability. Essentially, this just makes it so that any sound-based move used against your Pokemon will just fail. I made my way up Mount Coronet and grabbed myself a Loudred, which I then evolved into Exploud and returned to Route 215 to continue our hunt. And it paid off almost instantly. But this third chain broke at 10, and the fourth chain broke at 4. However, the fifth chain went the distance, and I successfully got to a chain of 40. Now to reset the Pokeradar a bunch of times until the shiny appears. And boy, did I have to reset the Pokeradar a bunch of times. Over 20 minutes later, it happened. Oh, saw it. Yes. Oh, it's so good looking. Oh man. Woo! All right. For Turtwig, we are actually heading back in time to the Hisui region and Pokemon Legends Arceus. This game is highly regarded in the shiny hunting community for both showing the shiny in the overworld and the sound that occurs when you get in range of a shiny. However, the Sinnoh starters are some of the harder ones to do in Legends Arceus. Each one only has one area where they spawn, and even there, only 2 to 3 of them spawn naturally at most. There are also some of the more rare mass outbreaks, so finding a shiny Sinnoh starter in this game is a decent enough challenge. My main strategy is to travel back and forth between Celestic Town and the Crimson Mirelands. If there is a massive mass outbreak for the Crimson Mirelands, or a specific Turtwig mass outbreak, I will obviously do that. But if not, I will just take a quick ride on Braviary to Turtwig's little grotto in the southeast of the area, check for a shiny, and then return to Celestic Town. Rinse and repeat. Going through the motions, I wasn't having much luck. Obviously, I wasn't getting a shiny, but I would mostly only see one Turtwig with each flyby, and quickly realized this may take a while. Nothing new about that, but eventually, I got my first massive mass outbreak to appear. And of course, Turtwig was not part of it. But I carried on with my routine. Eventually, a second massive mass outbreak appeared, and this time I got lucky. No, I didn't get a shiny, but at least Turtwig was part of it, so I knew things were looking up. Oh. A little while later, a third massive mass outbreak appeared, and to my surprise, it had Turtwig, and my persistence paid off. Oh. We've got a Gen 1 Pokemon on deck with Ekans now, so you know what that means. That's right, we are back in the Let's Go games, chaining catches. We are specifically on Route 3 in Let's Go Eevee, since it is a version exclusive. We find our first little danger noodle, and we are off to the races. At a 20% spawn rate, it is by far the hardest common spawn to appear. It does help that sitting in this area of the route ensures we can see every possible spawn. And once we get to the chain of 11, the encounter rate for Ekans dramatically increases. As we know, the odds for this setup are 1 in 271, and as you can plainly see, we have spent a good couple hours here and are getting close to over odds. The universe must have it out for me at this point, right? Oh, I saw it. I saw it. You saw it. Everybody saw it. There it is. Let's go. Was it 206? 207? Technically under odds, but this, oh jeez, this took a long time. Whew. At least it's an easy catch. I guess not. Horsea is our next target, and believe it or not, we're not going to use the Let's Go games to get it. Water encounters in Let's Go are generally not a fun time, and I'm trying to have a fun time. So instead, we are going to tackle chain fishing and Alpha Sapphire. We could also attempt this same method in X and Y, but the odds of finding Horsea are a little bit higher in ORAS. So Alpha Sapphire it is. Horsea has a 35% encounter rate with a Super Rod and basically all of the late game water routes, so we'll just head east of Pacific Clog? Pacid Log? How do you pronounce this name?
Pacific Log.
Pacific Log Town. We'll head east of Pacific Log Town to Route 131 and begin fishing. Going through the chain, we are seeing a fair amount of Horsea, more than the 35% encounter rate would suggest, and wouldn't you know it, that played into our favor. Are you kidding me? That was 8 minutes! 8 minutes! And this is a 35% spawn! Wailmore is so much more common. That's insane! Sure. Yeah. Love it. You know what? I deserve this. Our first SOS hunt is up next, and we're out looking for a Charjabug. We could go for a Grubbin on Route 1, and then evolve it for a little bit of an easier time, but since Charjabug can be caught in the wild, I thought it would be a better experience to do that instead. So we are up on Blush Mountain at nighttime to get the little bus bug to show up. And we found our initial encounter rather quickly. We get set up with Harvest and Lepaberry Swamp, and off we go. Knowing how most of our encounters have gone, we are probably going to be here for a hot minute, as I don't think the universe... Oh. The red bus. It's been a little while, so let's check back in with the Dialga hunt. I don't want that. Yeah, that is not going well. Remember in the last TCG video where we needed to get a shiny Aron and did a dual hunt with Horde encounters and Pokeradar? Well, we are back in Granite Cave and are exclusively doing Horde encounters for Aron. Now you might be asking yourself, Alex, why aren't you doing a dual hunt again? The answer is simple, I don't want to. Using Sweet Scent on Masquerain, we very quickly start racking up encounter numbers. There are 2 Pokemon here in Granite Cave that we can encounter with Hordes, Zubat and Aron. The encounter split is 60-40 in favor of Zubat, so Aron is still fairly common, and I can't possibly imagine Zubat being a huge problem for this.
I don't want that. I really don't want that.
Well, all things considered, 100 encounters really isn't that far along, so we'll just hunker down and press on, hoping that that was our one and only Zubat phase.
Stop it! Stop giving me that stupid Zubat. This sucks.
Whatever, man. Let's just keep going. And keep going I did. Thankfully, with the passing encounters, I wasn't seeing any more shiny Zubat, but I also wasn't seeing our target shiny Aron. Eventually though, the odds shifted to my favor.
That's amazing! Amazing!
I know it says that, but it's not all that bad. Staying in Oras, we're heading to Route 116 for 2 Pidove, one of which we will evolve into Unfezant. But we are using yet another new method, Dex-Nav chaining. To explain this, I have recruited a renowned Pokemon professor to assist me. Professor Alex? Thanks, narrator Alex. Now if you look here on the lower 3DS screen, you're gonna see a whole gaggle of Pokemon. Clicking on any one of these little guys will allow you to search the nearby area for that specific little guy. That is the functionality of the Dex-Nav at a basic level. The shiny hunting aspect of it comes from a combination of 2 things. The first is the search level, which you can see right there. This just indicates the quantity of that specific Pokemon that you have defeated. The second aspect comes from the number of Pokemon you've defeated consecutively after finding them through a Dex-Nav search. And the shiny odds can be determined from these super fun and very understandable charts. But if these are not super fun and very understandable charts, let me break it down for you. There's a bunch of math going on behind the scenes, but what you really need to know is this. Increasing that search level improves your shiny odds, and then every 5th, 50th, and 100th encounter is a bonus shiny chance. I think that about covers it. Back to you, Alex. Thanks, Alex. So here we are in Route 116 and working through our first Dex-Nav chain. And, oh, yep, I broke the chain. Well, it was only our first one, and it isn't a total loss since it increased our search level, and therefore improved our shiny odds in the future. Working through our second chain, just before we reach a nice milestone, we are gifted something special.
Ooh, the bird! I got the bird!
I got birds to catch, Emily. I can't go on walks. Birds. Since catching the shiny doesn't break your chain, we just keep on trucking. And just before we hit the 100 chain, this happened. Oh, bird 2. 2 bird. 2 birds. 2 bird. Sick. All we have left to do is to take one of these Pidoves and evolve it up to Unfezant. For Fletchling, we are going to take a stab at Pokeradar and X and Y once again. If you remember from the previous TCG video, this wasn't exactly a great method for me.
I quit. I'm just finding this in Scarlet and Violet.
I had to go through 10 different chains before I finally got it to work last time. I thought surely this time would be different. I couldn't possibly be that unlucky again. So let me ask you something. How many chains do you think it took me to get to 40? 1, 4, 7, 11. It took 11 attempts to reach a chain of 40. And it wasn't that it just took 11 attempts, it was the fact that of the 10 that failed, only 2 of them managed to get to at least 20, and then the 11th chain took 48 minutes to get to 40, plus another 15 minutes of resets before the shiny appeared.
Oh my god. Finally. I'm so over this bird. Orange. Bird. Oh.
Dreepy is our next hunt, and being a Gen 8 Pokemon, it is really limited in the amount of different ways we can find it. Of course, I could just make a dragon or ghost sandwich in Violet and be done with this hunt in less than 20 minutes, but that doesn't make for very good content. As if I were tempting the universe to throw me into a spiral of terrible odds, I opted to do a Masuda hunt in Sword. Again, the basics of a Masuda method hunt involve breeding 2 Pokemon from different language games. Since my game is in English, I'll be using my Japanese Ditto for the easiest setup to this method. It also helps to have the shiny and oval charms. The shiny charm for obvious reasons, but the oval charm will improve the chances of you receiving an egg from the nursery. With the setup ready, let's get into it. And as we approach going over odds yet again, my nightmare finally ended.
Oh my god. Finally, I hate the Masuda method. This sucked. 437? Are you kidding me? Oh.
I got a bad feeling this is gonna be a huge problem for a lot of Gen 8 Pokemon. Meditite will be another Gen 4 Pokeradar hunt, but instead of using my copy of Diamond, we'll be using my Japanese copy of Platinum. Why do I have a Japanese copy of Platinum? Because it's like half the cost of the English one. People be paying outrageous sums of money to relive their childhood exactly how they remember it. Yeah, hi, I'd like to buy a 17-year-old game for $150, please. See what I mean? We'll start this hunt on Route 211 East, where Meditite is a simple 40% spawn, and we find it really quickly, and we're breezing through the chain, and we reach a 40 chain on the first try, and we didn't botch the resets at 40, and we got the shiny in a very timely and stress-free manner?
It's so red. It's so good looking. God, what did they do to the 3D models?
That footage is obviously fake, since it is well documented. I could never pull off that kind of good luck. Shiinotic is up next, and we'll get it through another SOS hunt. Shiinotic does spawn in the wild as a 10% nighttime encounter, but this thing knows every status and healing move known to mankind, as well as an additional 3 known to mushroom kind. Factor in its SOS call rate is fairly low. I got to a whopping chain of 2 before I decided this wasn't worth my sanity. So instead, I opted to go for a Morlul SOS hunt in Brooklet Hill. I very quickly found a Morlul and got to a 31 chain to maximize our shiny odds. From here, it was just a waiting game. A long waiting game. Not long because it took a lot of encounters, but also because Morlul also has healing and status moves that make the process annoying. Not as annoying as Shiinotic himself, but still annoying. But as usual, my patience eventually paid off.
There it is. The red mushroom.
Then we head off to the vast Pony Canyon, battle some trainers, and get the shiny mushroom. It's a me, Mario. To gear up for our Drowzee hunt, we're heading back to Let's Go. This one is a little trickier, as while Drowzee is a more common spawn, the area you find it in is a lot more open and spread out. Because of the area, it is entirely possible that there are spawns just off screen that we can't see, and the risk of missing a shiny is a lot higher. Not much we can do about it, so let's go!
Oh, you stink!
We get our first Drowzee and quickly get to max shiny odds at 31. And then we get to 50, and then 100, and then 200, and then 300. We're over odds by this point, and then 400. But shortly after 400, something appears.
This is not okay. I hate this so much. Rat. Stupid, stinky rat. I don't want you.
Distraught, I kept on with the process, trying to trust it.
Dude, I'm losing my mind. I'm actually losing my mind. This sucks. I hate this. I don't want you.
Oh, I don't want to keep doing this, man.
Oh my god. Oh my god. There it is. Oh my god, it's been so long.
No, I don't want to pet Charizard.
Pink. Finally.
All right. 441 indeed. I'm getting really tired of this. How about a quick Dialga check-in?
That's so stupid. That is actually so stupid.
Yeah, no, the universe actually hates me. We are back in Oras for another chain fishing encounter, Carvanha. And unlike Horsea, this specific method for Carvanha ensures that it will make up 95% of the spawns we can see on Route 118. The only other spawn here is the 5% encounter Sharpedo, and at 5%, we're just so very unlikely to see anything but Carvanha. We start off our chain, and wouldn't you know it, it is Carvanha. And that's all we see for a really long time until... Well, at least it wasn't a shiny, and we got the 5% Sharpedo out of the way for a little while. That's actually nuts. But surely, the Sharpedos are gone for now. There it is. That was really quick. That took 20 minutes. Sweet. Sick. All right. Very refreshing. Very refreshing. Mr. Mime will bring us back to Legends Arceus. The process is basically the same as Turtwig, but our odds of finding a shiny are a lot better than Turtwig for two main reasons. The first being, we'll take a Mime Jr. or a Mr. Mime. Either of them will help us accomplish our goal. The second reason is that Mr. Mime appears in multiple areas. Mass outbreaks or massive mass outbreaks have a higher chance of including what we are looking for. And away we go. My luck flying around wasn't really great, at least for what I was looking for. I don't need you. Is that the most common shiny in this game? That line, like it has to be, right? It is. I've decided now. That is the most common shiny in this game. You have to be actually kidding me. Any of the mass outbreaks I was getting weren't being kind, but I kept going through the motions of flying around and staying on the lookout for mass outbreaks. But on my 5th massive mass outbreak, we hit a breakthrough. Yes! Oh my god! Finally! Axew is the next shiny we're gonna hunt for, and, well, it's complicated. My initial thought was to do horde encounters in the connecting cave, and it is one of 3 horde encounters there. What I did not realize for an embarrassingly long amount of time is that Axew hordes only have a 5% encounter rate. And I have the proof. In 40 horde encounters, only 2 of the hordes were Axew. The math checks out. Well, how about Dexnav in Granite Cave? Sure, that sounds like a good idea in theory, but the thing about using Dexnav in caves is that it sucks. The Pokemon are not stationary, and once you have a successful chain of 4, the Pokemon speed up their movement. I tried. I really did. So, no horde encounters, no Dexnav. I'm certainly not doing another Masuda method hunt in the same video. Sue me. Against my better judgment, I started the Klefki hunt as a Poke Radar in X and Y, and it went about as well as you could expect. One. I figured. My 5th attempt, however, went surprisingly well. Until, well, you know. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts so much. Horde encounters it is. This broke me a little bit. So instead of trying to chain it again, I decided to do horde encounters for Klefki. Since it is a steel type and the other horde Pokemon on the route are not, I put a Magnezone with the Magnet Pull ability in the front of my party to ensure half of my encounters were Klefki, and off I went. For a really, really long time. Yeah, you saw that correct. I went through 2,000 encounters, and not only did I not get a shiny Klefki, I didn't get shiny anything. I know my luck has been pretty terrible, but this terrible? After this, I decided that every 1,000 encounters, I would try another Pokeradar chain. And here is the result of my 6th attempt. Stupid. Back to the horde encounters I went. And wouldn't you know it, I went another 1,000 encounters without a single shiny. 7th Pokeradar attempt up next. Wait, hold on. Hang on. Could he could go all the way! Actually, a miracle. And several resets later, my prize appeared. Oh my god. The keys! I got the keys! All right. This is still insane. That's not a single one. That's insane. The possessed sandcastle known as Sandygast is up next. This one is pretty straightforward. On Hano Beach, there are 2 encounter spots, which can be either Sandygast or Staryu. So we'll just go through the encounters until one is a Sandygast and get to work on our SOS chain. And naturally, I could not catch a break. This is what I get for playing Pocket. What is wrong with me? This sucks! But for my 4th chain, I really locked in. No distractions, no mishaps, just pure gaming. Oh, finally. Yes. Back at the beginning of March 2025, Pokemon Go held their annual Go Tour event, this time celebrating the Unova region. As part of the lead up for this event, Pokemon Go had all of the Unova legendaries in 5-star raids for the week prior to the event starting. Also included was the mythical Pokemon Genesect. And its shiny was turned on for this event. Seeing that shiny mythical events are few and far between, I decided to document this journey of me hunting for a shiny Genesect. I did this in anticipation of eventually pulling a Genesect card. I just didn't realize it would be this quickly. And boy, did I have to grind for it. The specific 5-star raid Pokemon would change every day that week, and Monday would be the only day Genesect would be in the raids. With the way the time zones work, New Zealand, Australia, and Japan all started the Genesect raids while it was still Sunday night for me on the East Coast of the United States. So I ran through 20 remote raids on Sunday night, but alas, no shiny. Then Monday rolls around and Genesect becomes the standard 5-star raid for my time zone, and I got to work. But another 20 raids later, and I was still empty-handed. Except now, I am out of remote raids, and by the time the next day rolls around, Genesect will disappear from raids. I'm not gonna lie, this was really frustrating for me. If you didn't know, legendary Pokemon have about a 1 in 20 chance of being shiny in Pokemon Go raids, and the fact that I did 40 and got nothing really was a hit to my confidence. Not to mention, I spent money to do it. Later Monday night, I had realized that there was limited research I completed by beating all of those raids. The research consisted of one of every Unova legendary, but also an additional 5 Genesect encounters. With some renewed hope, I went through all 5, but again, came up short. I wrote this off as a failure. I figured I would just have to wait until Genesect appeared in raids again to get my shot at this. But something happened 2 days later. I saw a post while browsing Reddit of someone showing that they had the limited research. Again, they had already completed all of it, but there it was, back in their research page and showing as complete. As luck would have it, some people experienced some kind of bug with the research, shocker, and Niantic was gracious enough to grant everyone another set of the limited research encounters. I quickly opened Pokemon Go and went to my limited research page. The encounters were all back. Believing in the heart of the cards, I knew one of these final 5 Genesect encounters would be my salvation, and I was right. We're venturing into the Friend Safari next for Reuniclus. Well, Duosion, which will then evolve into Reuniclus. Something peculiar about the Friend Safari I have with Duosion is that Wobbuffet is also present. Why is that noteworthy? Well, Wobbuffet has the ability Shadow Tag, which prevents you from fleeing the encounter. So instead of having 1/3 of the encounters I have end in a battle, I grabbed a smoke ball and had my Hawlucha hold on to it. Now that we are prepped, let's head in. As per usual, we're flying through encounters and going over odds, but things are looking really bad. At least by now, I would have found some kind of shiny, and then it happened.
Oh, this is so stupid.
Surely, at this point, I have suffered enough. Surely, I have paid whatever debt I owed to the universe.
Stop it! Stop giving me that Pokemon! I don't want it! This is stupid! This is stupid!
Surely, this is over! I just want to move on, man. I just want the nightmares to end. The odds here are 1 in 512. It is so hard for me to overstate how unlucky this was. But then nothing, and nothing, for a very, very, very long time. Until... yeah! That is nuts. The odds are 1 in 512. Stupid. But we aren't done yet. The card's deemed Reuniclus as the shiny I need, so I went off to grind it up. I just went into my experience farm Friend Safari with Audino and Chansey to evolve. Before moving on, something very interesting happened when I went to the Pokemon Center. Who has Pokerus? For those that don't know, Pokerus is a virus that your Pokemon can catch that doubles the amount of effort values it gains in battle. It was eventually removed in Gen 9, but before that, it was a rare thing that could happen by either catching or battling a wild Pokemon that had it. And by rare, I mean extremely rare. The odds of finding a wild Pokemon with Pokerus was about 1 in 21,000. That is 5 times more rare than finding a shiny in the base odds of X and Y. So maybe my bad luck is finally turning around? Oh, right. I did forget about Dialga. I just don't know what I did to deserve this. It really doesn't bode well for my future. Most legendaries I can get somewhere else, but there are 8 legendaries you can only get shiny and Dynamax adventures. And I'm still technically under odds at 1 in 100, but when a single Dynamax adventure takes 15 to 20 minutes, it starts to take a toll on your mind, especially since I'm dual hunting this, and I am approaching double over odds in Ultra Sun. I'm well over a week into this hunt, putting in at least a good 2 to 3 hours every day. When will it end? I might cry. I don't think you understand how long I've been doing this. I'm gonna cry. Let's do some quick math to really show you how long this took. We'll use the soft reset number of 2,491 from Ultra Sun, as the time it takes to soft reset is a lot more consistent. If we assume it took me about 30 seconds for a full reset, this took 74,730 seconds, which is 1,245 minutes, which is just under 21 hours. The lengths I go for content. And that's it. We have collected the 25 available shinies from this round of TCG packs. The only ones we couldn't get this go around were Diancie and Terapagos. If I had to guess, I'd probably say Diancie would be the next to be shiny, considering Pokemon Legends ZA is on the horizon, but time will tell. And just a quick PSA to everyone out there, Black Cats are not bad luck. Once again, I sincerely want to thank you for watching my video and have a great rest of your day. It's so short. Like, It's so hard to get on and off too. I just needed a coat. And I got the large, but I am bigger than large.